guys, welcome back to A Vintage Halloween. So, it's been long overdue, but I wanted to do another installment of my ghost stories for this Friday. Toby is in the curtains, so those aren't ghosts, it's Toby. If you hear him walking around, that's him on the floor. So yeah, I wanted to relate an experience that I had in Illinois. This was a number of years ago. I think this is maybe 2010-ish. Not really. He's squeaking at me. Just a minute, baby. Just a minute. It's okay. So yeah, so it was really bizarre. So, okay. Normally, like, when I saw ghosts as a child, but I don't see them as an adult, I normally feel them. And so this was a weird experience because I was going to a restaurant I'd been to many times before. I was actually going to Alton, Illinois, to a restaurant, and my sister was in college at the time, and my mother and I had gone to see her dance production because she's an amazing dancer. And so every winter the college would put on like this big dance show, and so we'd all go and, you know, to support her and see her in the dance show. So that's why we were there. And I'd been to this restaurant. It was like a restaurant in an old Victorian house, and I'd been to this restaurant like tons of times as a student. I went to the same college. It's across the river from St. Louis, in Illinois, like right on the Mississippi River. It's a beautiful old house, and they have great food at this restaurant. And so I've been there many times before and like never had an experience there. And so that's why this was so bizarre. And also, like, I've never been like yelled at by a ghost. Yes, this is weird. So, okay. I think we went there, my mom and I went there by ourselves to eat dinner because my sister was at dance prod and she couldn't come to dinner with us. So it was maybe like around 6 p.m. And we pull up to this, you know, pull up to the restaurant, park into the parking lot. And I look at the house, and this thought comes into my head that there's a spirit on the 3rd floor. She doesn't like people coming up there because that's where she lives, but she likes the restaurant. So don't come upstairs. And like, the way that I received this information, it was like someone walked up to me on the street and said that and walked away. Like, it was bizarre. It came out of nowhere. And I was like, what the F is that? I don't even know. Like, this never happened to me before or since. I just get information. Normally I feel and sense things. It's not just like, you know, a random thought. So I thought to myself, it was my imagination. The house is creepy. It's old, like it's Victorian. I must like be creeped out by it or something. And that's why I thought of that thought. Because, you know, maybe it is haunted because it's creepy. Anyways, I just blew it off. We went in, had dinner. Nothing happened. I completely forgot about that incident. And then the next day, there's very few places to really eat in that area. And so we decided, since we liked the food so much, that Mom and I decided to go back to the same restaurant that we went to the day before. So this day, I think it's around the same time, around like 6 p.m., sort of dusk. And it's in the middle of winter. And we come into this restaurant, and they're like, well, great, we'd love to give you a table, but, you know, there's a wait. So why don't you go upstairs and look at the gift store while, you know, we wait for, you know, your table to be, you know, finished and set up and emptied and everything like that. And so immediately when I looked at the stairs, it was like a block. It was like, do not come upstairs. And it was the spirit upstairs. And I was like, that was real from the day before. Like, there's really something up there. Like, this is so strange. So I had this horrible foreboding feeling, do not go upstairs. But I mean, it's like, what am I supposed to do? It's like, it's just a weird feeling I have. What am I supposed to say to my mother? Oh, we can't go upstairs because the spirit upstairs says not to go up. Like, they'll think that I'm crazy. So I'm like, it must be my imagination. We're going to go up anyway. Let's go up to the gift shop. So, this is an old Victorian house, and it's not, they didn't like sort of, renovate it to make it a store or anything. And they set up all the merchandise in and all the bedrooms upstairs, and you just sort of walk through the rooms. So we come into the first room, and there's a spirit in the corner. It's like a middle-aged woman. I could not see her. I could sense her. And I don't know why. I can tell you, I think she was in her late 50s. She lived there. I say turn of the 19th, 20th century is her time period. And I don't know why I know that. I didn't see her. Like I said, I just sensed her. She was in my face. Get the F out of my room. I told you not to come up here, and you did it anyway. Get the F out of my room. This is my space. Like, I felt like her energy in my face. And I was just like, my first instinct was to talk out loud to her and be like, you need to calm the F down. Like, I'm just in the gift shop. I'm going to be here for 5 minutes. Goodbye. Like, I'm not here to invade your space. But my mother was there, and I'm like, she's going to think that I've lost my mind if I'm sitting here talking to air. So I was just like, okay, like, what do I do? So I'm just like, so I said to my mom, I don't like this room. It's sort of creepy. I'm going to go into the next room. I need to go into the next room. And so I went to the next room, and then my mom followed me, and she was like, you know, in the other room, I felt like really bad energy, like something was watching us. Yeah, and at the time I was trying to convince myself it was my imagination. And when my mom came in and said that to me, I'm like, it's real. This is real. This really happened. So after that, like we were in the second room, and I just avoided the spirit. I just didn't even, I avoided her. I'm like, well, we're just here to look at the gift store. Like, you need to calm down. I just avoided her. And the little clerk, I think she was probably a college student who was like working as a hostess. She was horrified to come upstairs to get us to get our table. Horrified. I'm like, well, I know why she's horrified. So we went down to dinner, and I told my mother the entire incident. And I'm like, this is what I feel like happened. And Mom was like, are you kidding? Like, she's like, I definitely sensed a presence. And I was like, do I tell, the manager of the restaurant that this occurred? Like what do I say? He's in the curtains again. I ended up not saying anything. It was obviously, a human spirit. It's a woman. She's just possessive. That was her house, but then later on, I felt really sort of bad that she had told me not to come upstairs. I did anyway. Like, I've never had an experience like that. So how was I supposed to know? I thought it was fake. I thought it was my imagination. But anyway, so that was just one of like the weird things that happened. I've never had anything like that happen since. No ghosts have yelled in my face, but like she was pissed. Like, yeah, it was weird. Let me know if you've had stuff like that happen to you. I mostly just sense things. And I never actually I haven't seen ghosts since I was a child. So this is the only time like I've been yelled in my face and I sort of could sense what she looked like, but it's a weird thing. It's a weird thing. So, I thought that would be good for your Spooky Friday. A spooky little story to go with your Spooky Friday. Yeah, but that was a weird experience. The town of Alton, Illinois is sort of a creepy town. It's just sort of old and creepy. I actually think that restaurant is in like Godfrey, just like in a different town. But yeah. So that's my story. And I actually went back there, I think like 2 days later after this incident, and ate there with my mom and my sister downstairs, and it was completely fine. We didn't go upstairs. Clearly, like, the spirit just does not like people up in her space, and she likes the restaurant. She really thinks the restaurant's great. I think maybe I don't know if they made a deal with her. I don't know. But it was just very bizarre. It was one of the weirdest experiences I've had. It's weird to be yelled at by someone you can't see, but it's clearly being yelled at. So anyways, hope that'd be sort of a fun story for you guys for this Friday. And yeah, I will see you guys next week.